ready.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Chanel Jasmine, also known as the Spiritual Whistleblower, and this is a very special edition of Celebrity Survivors. For those that don't know, I have a background in hip-hop. I was a journalist. I've interviewed countless hip-hop artists. I'm a lover of the culture, but more importantly, I just have a high amount of respect for our legends, our OGs. You know, they've contributed and paved the way for so many. So we're doing a mukbang style interview today with one of the most iconic, legendary R&B hip hop producers of all time. Very dear friend of mine, Easy Moby.
A what bang?
A mukbang.
I'd actually learn what that word means.
Yes.
You know, it is according to what culture?
Asian.
Right, okay.
And see here we have a seafood platter. This is colossal. This is sponsored in part by my dear friend Rudy, the fish god.
At
Puerto Plata Seafood of Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn was good.
hooked us up, bro.
Man, this
Thank
is
you.
crazy. Rudy's got the game on lock. He's got the seafood game in all 5 boroughs on lock. So he hooked us up with that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna fix our plates and then we're gonna get into this interview with Easy Moby coming right up. Okay, so before we dig in, I would be honored if you would say grace and bless our food.
My grace,
Yes.
the way I do it,
Yes, sir.
to whom I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this food. We pray you make it nourishing to our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray.
Jesus'
Amen.
name, amen. All right, let's dig in. So it's 2020. What is Easy Moby up to in 2020? What's going on?
Well, shout to my man Big D. We just, actually that was in the summer, that was August. He released his album, This Is My Life. He also got a documentary coming.
Okay.
I also want to shout out excuse me.
He's showing us how to eat seafood hood style.
Oh.
Is that BK style?
Yeah, you gotta get up in there. But also to shout to my man A.B. Money, formerly of the group that I was in, Rapping Fundamental.
Fundamental? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's got an album that he's preparing right now entitled Gumbo, that I played a part on. I am not the sole producer on there, but I got a substantial amount of music on that.
Okay.
I want to shout out my man, my bad, Skanks the Martyr.
Okay.
of Bankai Fam.
Okay.
He just released his album too. So shout to him.
Shouts out to him.
I have some production on there. A song that I did. Yeah. Just didn't want to forget him.
Now I won't say all of the young generation currently, but I would say a lot of them. My opinion, I don't think they know their history. You know, it's business oriented now. Everyone's about getting the money and all that, and that's good stuff too. But you know, what do you think about this generation of hip hop?
It's different.
Okay, you want to elaborate?
Part of it is based upon the original concept of hip hop. That is like what I grew up on, what I started with. One of the main things that I could say, because when you talk about the composition and the elements of a song, particularly in hip hop, like drums is at the base, at the foundation. And one thing I noticed is that drum element, or rather the drum machine element, is still very, very strong. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, a lot of the, right now, the newer styles of hip hop, they used to call drill was a term. Some people will say trap right now. A lot of the drum programming in that. A lot
Trap
of
music, you mean? Okay.
excuse me. A lot of that is when you really listen to it, that 808 drum sound.
Wow.
I gotta make sure I ain't got lobster.
Now you good.
A lot of that drum programming we hear, a lot of that drum sound is owed back to, in my opinion, the early, I call it the early 808 Def Jam sound.
Okay.
Like Beastie Boys, LL Cool J. Can't forget the very first artist signed on Def Jam, Tila Rock.
Okay.
These all artists that at that time, Rick Rubin, DJ Jazzy J. You also had, what's his name? He also came into the fold, Davey D. You know, a lot of them, they was the ones that was responsible for that 808, that early 808 Def Jam sound. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta go back and you gotta listen to songs about the Beastie Boys, like Hold It Now, Hit It, and then what was the other one? I think it's Paul's Revere, with the boom, 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 boom. You know that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where it sound like the 808 is rolling backwards. If you took the Beastie Boys off of that track, I'm probably giving somebody an idea for a song too. That's all right. Just make sure you give me my credit and you say you got it from me.
Okay.
But if you, another one too, well, I'm a hoe, you know I'm a hoe. I rock 3, 12, 6, and I ever reach it. Oh, Houdini.
Right.
Those tracks. If you took them off the top and you laid the new layer of vocals on top of it, people,
it's the same thing?
you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
Wow.
So that's why I say I think the drum element is owed back to a lot of the early 808 Def Jam era. It's all the same thing. It's just like a lot of it just all coming full circle.
So who would you say has caught your attention lyrically, someone out today? That you could see yourself working with? Come on. It's a lot of artists now.
It's hard to say. I don't know.
Drizzy, Drake, maybe? I think Drake's a lyricist.
Come on, that's a given. That's a given, yeah.
Yeah?
That's a given.
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah,
Okay. Who else? Jay Electronica?
yeah. And me and Jay, we talked too on DM, but
Really?
it just seemed like it just don't happen. I don't know, maybe he's just too busy or whatever. I like what the Griselda,
Who?
I like what the Griselda is doing right now.
Okay.
Benny the Butcher, Conway and them.
Kanye?
Conway.
Oh, Conway.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. There's a lot of rappers. I ain't real familiar with a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Well, here's my favorite part because I want to talk about your legacy and your contributions. You know, we're approaching the anniversary of the death of the Notorious B.I.G, Christopher Wallace, and love to hear, you know, what was your experience like working with him in the studio, because you worked so closely with him. You could just walk us down, you know, one day in the studio with him, and you know, what was his personality like, you know, his sense of humor and his work ethic.
Well, Big would come in the studio. He'd sit there, and hey look, everybody knew. He rolled up, he smoked his blunt, and I don't know, he might order some food. Junior Mafia and them, whoever would come by to visit him. And so all of this is going on. I'm just trying to figure out when we gonna start working. And he's sitting there. He had this thing that he used to do. He would like rock in the chair, and he'd do this like twirling his thumb. I'm so. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought that he was just wasting studio time, but all that time he was writing in his head.
Wow.
Yeah, and it took a while for me to get used to that. He, a lot more was going on in his head than I thought. I was trying not to waste studio time.
That was his method of being creative. Wow.
And then there was other times too where he was a bit more serious. Because it all started with me. The reason why I started having talks with him when we first started recording, because he wanted to title the album Ready to Die.
Ready to Die?
And my thing was, I just wanted to know why.
You asked him that?
Yeah.
And
like,
what was his answer?
So he told me, he was like, yo, Mo, I know it sounds crazy, but I really got a lot on my plate. He explained to me how his mother, at that time, obviously by now she beat it, but she had cancer. On her breast, to be exact, he had told me. His daughter Tiana, who's probably like a grown woman now.
Oh yeah, she's a businesswoman now.
She was about to be born.
So he's feeling a lot of pressure just on life in general.
And then he told me before too. He's like, yo, Mo, I don't really want to be out on this on the avenue selling drugs. And at that time when he was doing that,
No, go ahead.
I used to live like about 3 blocks and around the corner from him. He was on St. James between Gates and Fulton. I was on Clinton Avenue between Gates and Green.
Okay.
Like Chubb Rock used to say, between Gates and Green. So I could walk, or like I did a lot back then, in that Acura, drive down to St. James, make the right. I'll come through there. Sometimes I'll come through looking for him. If he wasn't there, I knew he probably was around the corner on Fulton, on the strip. you know, out there doing what he do. So I have one memory when we were supposed to do our next song.
Okay.
I had just done the beat for Party and Bullshit. This is around the time when we first got together. That he was out there on the avenue, and I had this green Acura Legend. Matter of fact, y'all, the axe that he used to be talking about.
Was yours? Okay.
Hey man, I'm a fan of that though. Hey, fake it till you make it. He made it.
He's a great storyteller, so.
But I came around and I had the beat made already. The basis, like the main groove. And I was telling him, I was like, yo, I think this is that beat. I said, yo, I got some ideas for it. He was like, well, hook it up, man. And then I drove off. And then that's when it really, really kicked into me. I know we was producer, artist. That's the relationship we have, producer, artist. But as soon as I drove off, that's when it kicked in. Like,
This is really happening.
no, yeah, that, but I'm driving away. I'm leaving him on the street, pumping drugs right there on Fulton between St. James and Washington. So,
Now, for those that don't know, okay, hip hop fanatics do know, but for our people that don't know in the young generation, he produced a lot of Ready to Die, the Notorious B.I.G's
6 songs.
6 songs. So I want you to name the songs that you produced for Big, which was an incredible album with a lot of amazing producers on there.
Ready to Die,
Ready to Die,
Warning, Machine Gun Funk,
Machine Gun Funk, my favorite.
The What,
The What, Method Man.
I got some juicy, dirty fingers. Whatever. Ready to Die, Machine Gun Funk, The What, Warning, Friend of Mine, and
Me and My Bitch.
no, I didn't do that. What is that 6th song? Wait a minute. Ready to Die,
Give me the loop.
Warning. There you go.
Okay.
Warning.
I was getting confused.
Ready to
with that
Die.
song.
Warning. Machine Gun Funk. The What? Give me the loop. And Friend of Mine.
Friend of Mine. Okay. I don't know why I said Me and My Bitch or whatever.
Sometimes I know it might seem like, yeah. Sometimes
You've done a
I'll
lot,
forget.
so-
I forget.
You know, you posted a picture on your Instagram of you and Big holding a plaque. Tell me about that moment, and what were you guys? I mean, the picture says 1,000 words, but I want to hear from you what happened in that moment. You know, you guys were celebrating, obviously, so I know there's a story behind that.
Well, what it was, now that picture that you're talking about, that was, again, shout to Rapping is Fundamental. My boys A.B. and JR, they were there. And if you look in the picture, you see JR, he's the one with the glasses in the background. He was helping hold up the plaque. A.B., he was like off to the side. He didn't get caught in that picture, but that was my birthday party, 1995 at the Country Club.
Wow.
And Biggie agreed to come through and showcase the plaques for my birthday.
Which was epic.
And
That's crazy.
people always ask me, yo, you ain't got no pictures of Big? That's one of the very few. We just never really, you know, at the time, you're not really thinking about it. We didn't take a lot of pictures together.
I just wanted to work, you know, get to the music.
There's
right?
2 other pictures in history of me and him together. There's a picture of me, AB from Riff, KRS-One, and I think that's Young Z from The Outsiders, New Jersey. What up, Z?
I got a really great question about Big. What do you think he would have been like today had he still been alive? What level? I mean, you think he would have been on Jay-Z's level? Like,
Of course.
yeah.
Of course. You know what I wonder is musically, where would he have transgressed to?
I could see him working with the new people, like Nas working with Little Nas X. I could see Big doing that.
And even though the format of the music changed, I still could have seen Biggie adapting to that today, and you know. But I could also still picture him doing that funk, that hip hop, that boom bap, if it's okay to call it that. You know, that New York sound, that sample sound, which is something that still is a big part of me. I still do it. A lot of people probably don't understand that about me, but I have a love that goes real deep with music, and me being a DJ too, and just a lover of records since what, as low as 3 to 4 or 5 years old, when I got my first show and tell record player. Y'all youngins don't know what a show and tell record player is. You also probably don't know. You also probably don't know what a close and play turntable is. But my father handed that down to me, the love of the music. He was always a man of many records, always in the house playing gospel, soul, Motown, even a little bit of jazz, blues. And all of the music he was playing, that's where I got the bug from, is from him. So then when I watched somewhere around 75, yes, I'm that old. Somewhere around, I wear it on my sleeve like a badge. Somewhere around 75, I watched for the first time the guys on the block. Rest in peace, DJ RM. Both of the RMs from 415 building in Lafayette Gardens. Ronnie and Roy Moore, the first DJs that I ever seen operate turntables out in the park. When they first came out, I remember some of the first records I heard them play, and they were playing 45s too. Super Disco by the Rim Shots. Dreamin' a Dream Disco by Crown Heights Affair. You know, stuff like that. And I told my mother, I saw what they were doing. I was like, Mommy, I want that. She was like, I ain't got no money for that. So I made it a point. I was like, I want to do that, and I got to get that equipment. So it took years later, but somewhere around about the turn of 80, which is around the time where I made up the name, Easy Mo B. I'll tell you about that one too.
Yeah, please.
But I got my first summer job, and I don't know if a lot of people remember that, or even if they still got something like that now, but do you remember your working papers? Like,
They still have that.
yeah, okay, when you turned 14, you was legally able to like get your working papers and you could get a job. I was ready. I got the working papers, got my first summer New York summer youth employment job. And that turned into an after school job at a place called Uhuru, which in African means freedom. Uhuru Food Co-op. It was on Fulton Street, right there at the corner of Claver Place and Fulton. Now around the corner was the legendary The East. And I had heard that Biggie, I think either he went to school there or either the Catholic school right across the street from there. It's so crazy, the story that I'm telling, because it's all falling right back to Biggie. I think it was the Catholic school, but the East was another division of Actually, the co-op, the food co-op, was another one of the divisions of the East. The East was like something substantial in the Bed-Stuy neighborhood right there that went as far back to like the late 60s. Basically, they was there for the black community. They had their own school. They provided music studio and like band in there. What's his name? James M. to me. He can definitely attest to the East. He recorded, and was over there with them. They had a little movement, back then in the 70s. But anyway, the Uhuru Food Co-op is what became my after-school job. It wasn't the summer job. The guy I was working for in the summer, he owned the Uhuru Food Co-op. He ended up being Les Campbell, AKA G2 Weuzi. I don't know what that means in African, but after the summer job was over with, at the end of the summer, I said, I'm young. I'm like, Mr. G2, you think I could work in your store as an after school job? He was like, yeah, young man, I think I got something for you to do. That after school job is what enabled me to start buying my first records, my first 2 official pair of Technics turntables and Gemini mixer. And, it's just funny how that's what enabled me on the path all the way to be able to sit here to you and talk about it back then.
Now, I don't think...
talk about that right now.
Yeah, maybe you can clarify the story. You're the only producer to work with both Biggie and Tupac together collectively, or what's the story behind that?
Well, that's true, and then again, it's not true. Shout to DJ Eddie F.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Heavy D. Eddie F. in the mid-90s, he had a deal on Motown called, by his same production company named The Untouchables. And he did a compilation album. On that album, there was a song called Let's Get It On. And the song was Tupac, Heavy D, Grand Poobah, and Biggie. So I am not the only one who's ever produced Big. I may be the only one who produced Big and Pac together and separately.
Okay.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. I know I heard something along those lines. What's it like working with Tupac in the studio?
Oh man.
What song, tell everybody, even those that don't know, what song did you produce of Pac's?
We recorded a bunch of different songs all together during this period while he was here in New York filming Above the Rim. We recorded a little bunch of songs, and then he was so smart. He took all those songs and just dropped them, dispersed them to different albums. Smart dude. Because he could have took them all, put them on one album. So on Me Against the World, he took Temptations and If I Die Tonight. He put that on Me Against the World. Straight Ballin', he threw that on his Thug Life album. I'm watching him do all this. I'm like, My Block. He took that and he threw that onto the Show soundtrack. Remember that movie,
yes.
The Show? The original Running from the Police, the version that people know today has been knocked down to Running, but originally it was Running from the Police. He took that and he threw that on, what was the name of the album? It was an album that was formed by Ben Chavis, who was at that time lead of the NAACP.
Yes, I remember that.
Man, that seafood got my stomach talking. Actually, it said, yo, you send some more down. It's like you talking to
Well, looking at your plate, I'm saying, well, mine too. I did a number over here too.
No, but back to what I was saying, I thought it was real smart the way he took the songs and placed them on different albums. Actually, what he did too is he was placing himself in different, how can I say this, labels. Because the show was on Def Jam. If I Die Tonight and Temptations was on Interscope. The Thug Life album was on Interscope too, but there's a bigger concept to that, very similar to like what I saw RZA do. When he signed, you know, he took Old Dirty Bastard, gave him a deal on Elektra. He took Method Man, got him signed to Def Jam. He took Ghostface and Ray, and Ghostface ended up going to Epic. Raekwon went to Loud. What happens is you begin to compete with yourself when all of the songs come out on the charts. Smart. And Tupac was doing something like that when he dispersed all those songs to the different albums.
It's weird. It's like him and Big, as different as they were, they still were like geniuses in their own right. Like they had their own creative process, different from what we see other artists, you know. And you got to experience that from both artists. But we want to also talk about, we can't interview you without talking about Miles Davis. Okay. So since you're such a great storyteller, how did you meet him? You know, before he passed away, you both worked together in the studio. You know, he's a jazz artist and he reached out to you
so many people that I have to say rest in peace to. One of who I felt like was my very best manager ever. Rest in peace to Francesca Sparrow from, at the time, RPM, abbreviated for Rush Producers Manager. Russell Simmons, he had Rush Artist Management, but then he created a division for Producer Management. And I went over there and I got on their roster in like 1990. Did I ever tell you the story of how I ended up at Rush?
No, but you can.
Okay, first of all, the first thing I ever did was Big Daddy Kane. Before that, me and Rapping is Fundamental, we was recording, doing independent records and stuff like that. But Big Daddy Kane is the one project in '89 on It's a Big Daddy Thing. Another Victory and Calling Mr. Welfare featuring Cool DJ Red Alert. Those two songs is what opened the door for me. So, I had my sights set on, I want to be this producer, but I was working at Con Edison here in New York. And I was going back and forth in my mind. I know I want to pursue the music, but I had this job. So I was still living in my parents' house. I resigned from the job and didn't even tell my mother and father. Resigned and came home. My father, man, back there, man, he would have me on the floor. He was like, now would you do some stupid like that for? They only cared for me, you know what I mean? They wanted to make sure that I had direction, making sure the decisions I was making, if I knew what I was doing. So one day, my mother, she went out to work. I done resigned from Con Ed, now I'm home during the days. I'm in the house. Something just come to me, I get an idea. I was like, man, I want to Rush. I was in the crib, I was like, man, I want to be with Rush. Something told me, said, yo, call information. Yeah, information. I called up 411, operator picked up, and she was like, hello, how may I help you? I said, do you have the telephone number for Rush, Rush Artist Management? She said, yeah, please, will you hold for the number? I was like, okay. She connected me. The receptionist over there was a girl. She picked up. She was like, hello, Rush, how may I help you? I was like, yeah, my name is Easy Moby, and I produced a couple of songs. Like I worked on Big Daddy Kane album, and I worked with this artist called The Genius. I was just trying to see how, you know, I could get down and be on the producer.
Aww.
And she said, you don't want to be on Rush Artist Management. She said, you want to be on RPM. She said, Russell created a division for producer management. She said, the girl who heads up RPM is out to lunch. Would you call back in an hour? So the hour passed. I call back. I'm speaking to Fran. And again, I got that timid, just new green in the business, want to get in. I was like, how you doing? You know, my name is Easy Moby, you know, and you know, I produced 2 songs on Big Daddy Kane album. I did 10 songs on this artist, The Genius, and I was trying to go on and so. And she said, I know who you are. I was like, word.
How did she know? How did she know who you were?
Inside, I was like, word. Said basically what she was saying is that my name was traveling more than I thought.
That's God's favor.
When you a lot of times we don't even think as much of ourselves as others think of you.
Right.
And when she said that, that was the wake up call. I was like, word. Why did they know about me?
And you started feeling yourself.
So she said, I'll tell you what. I want you to put together a cassette reel for me. Put what you feel is some of your best available tracks on that reel, and then also make me a tape of all of the stuff that you did so far. So I put the Genius stuff on there, put Big Daddy Kane. I did a couple of small remixes at the time. And when I got over there, the very first project she handed me and put me on just happened to be the very last Third Base record.
Really? I didn't know that. Which song?
It was called Gladiator. It was a song on the movie soundtrack for Gladiator.
Okay.
And it was my job to remix it. That was my very first official on a major label remix.
Foot in the door.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's how you, wait, when did you meet Kane? Was that before or after?
I met Kane.
Kane before?
I didn't know Kane. I met Kane through A.B. Money in Riff. Because he and Kane used to go to Sarah J. Hill High School, downtown Brooklyn together. I heard Mr. C went there too. Biz is from a whole bunch of places. He says from Harlem, Long Island. Biz is from a little bit.
You mean Biz Marquis?
But I thought that Biz used to go to Sarah J, but they said that he used to come up there to the school. A.B. knew him and went to school with him. So I was like, yo, you know, I want to show him some beats. And I tried that for the longest, and then finally, because during the making of Kane's first album, Long Live the Kane, me, A.B., and J.R. Riff, we was tagging behind him everywhere he went. Everywhere he went, because, you know, we just wanted to be down. We wanted to be on. And to anybody that's young, new, getting into this business, not just young, but new, if you want to get into the business, you got to go where it's at. I think a lot of all of those times that we tagging behind Kane, wherever he went, a lot of times he would call us up in it and just invite us, and we would go. A lot of times tagging behind him and going and being in all of those places is what helped establish the relationship to put me and us in the place that we're able to say that we're in today, like tagging behind Kane.
I was going to ask you, because you beat me to it, but
what?
How do you think it would have been back in the day if y'all had social media? Because it's like this generation, they're a bit arrogant, you know. I don't see them tagging behind anyone, you know, before them.
They probably would have been just as arrogant back then too.
You know? You think so?
What?
You see Big on social media.
You see Eric B. and Rakim back then with the big gold chains? Imagine back in '88 Eric B and Rakim could have been on like MySpace, Facebook, Instagram. Oh my goodness. Imagine that. Moving video on social media. Eric B and Rakim with the chains and word up. You know how Rakim talk? That would have been a real sight to see.
Wow.
But something about the way they carry their self versus the way I see, not all, but a lot of the artists today. I think it's probably because when you talk about being successful, or a lot of times we use that word, a star. I don't really like that word. But when you talk about being closer to somebody who was successful, or trying to be closer to somebody that was successful at that time, you got to think who had just finished preceding us.
Right.
In 1987, 88, when Kane and Biz and them, they first dropped their first records. Right before that, the stars to us was what? Earth, Wind and Fire. You know what I'm saying? Chaka Khan, Marvin Gaye, people like that. So what I'm trying to say is, even the hip hop artists back then who aspired to be successful, get in the business, even on the rap level too, Grandmaster Flash, LL Cool J, stuff like that, Fat Boys, whatever, Curtis Blow, EPMD. There's so many different names I could say, but okay, when we inspired by and we emulate people that come before us, you got to think the generation that was right before us. So maybe that's the reason why we carried ourselves, we acted a certain way. I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to say this. I think it's very important to tell people how important they are while they're here. And, you know, we're losing so many legendary, iconic people. I mean, we just lost Kobe Bryant.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
Yeah, Pop Smoke.
Rest in peace, Hustle, man.
I'm really grateful that you took the time out to, you know, share some of the history here. And I'm looking forward to whatever you're working on. I don't know if y'all know he's into house music too. I'm a big house music fanatic.
Oh yeah, man.
You want to tell them that you spin?
Oh yeah, I spin as often as I can. Whether it's local or traveling, you know. I've been to Switzerland spinning house music. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. What was that like?
It was cool, but I guess it's the era I come from. Musically, I appreciate it all. From R&B, funk, soul, hip hop, disco, house. It comes out in my music, and DJ wise, I ended up spinning those things.
Yeah.
When we did, a friend of mine, Biggie, that you know that ain't right, with a friend of mine. Rest in peace, Larry Levan. That was one of the biggest records that Larry Levan used to play in the garage. And I was right there when he played the acapella one night. Everybody stomping, screaming, going crazy. So it's just so crazy that I could take an element as far back and in a totally different genre as Paradise Garage and take that and fit that into a Biggie record. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
That's crazy, but that all comes from accepting the music as a whole.
Well, I want to say thank you. I'm looking at your plate and I'm looking at mine.
They look about equal, but it looked like
you did more damage. I was just mesmerized by the storytelling, but I could have did more.
Man, give me one of them. Give me
yeah.
that corn, man. Corn. This how we gonna go.
He can take off my plate because usually it's me taking food off of his plate, but I'm gonna let him, you know.
This how we gonna go out, man. Finish this ear of corn, you know what I mean?
But thank you so much for, you know, doing this with me. This was awesome.
Welcome.
This is your first mukbang.
My very first.
What do you think of the mukbang thing? It's cool, right?
Oh no, it's just cool. It all just came natural, just talking and eating. But Puerto Plata.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rudy, shouts out to Rudy the fish god. thank you for this amazing meal always. This was more than gratifying, and he's happy, you know, so thank you again. It was great. And many more blessings to come. I look forward to hearing more music from you. I know it's coming.
Yeah, and I'm slow getting to it, but I have an album. Oh. That's right, Easy Mo B is gonna do another album, a compilation album.
And you're gonna have artists on there, features, or is this all you?
Yeah, it's gonna be features, a bunch of people. Me rapping, that's done.
Okay.
I laid the rap hat down in 2000 with that album, Now or Never, Odyssey 2000. I told AB and JR and rapping is fundamental. They got mad at me. It was like, come on, man. I said, I don't want to rap anymore. I'm gonna just produce, and that's how it's been ever since.
Okay. Well, look forward to hearing from Easy Mo B. I'm excited to hear about it. So you're collaborating, I'm sure, with some new artists as well on this project.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shout to Daddy O.
Daddy-O. I know what he's getting ready to say. But
yeah, Daddy-O most recently on Instagram.
Daddy-O Stetsasonic, for those that don't know who Daddy-O is.
That's right.
Stetsasonic.
Daddy-O, I like the way you just creeped up on us, man, and just put us all in the corner, put us on the spot. But Daddy-O elected the recreation of Self-Destruction 2. The producers that he elected on the project he said he wants Pete Rock, Large Professor, Easy Mo B, Prince Paul,
Primo,
DJ Premier, and Marley Marl, who was the biggest influence to me, a huge reason for why I do what I do.
Well, we're looking forward to that, your project and Self-Destruction 2. I remember when the first one came out like it was yesterday, word for word, memorized the whole song, but it's needed now. So
shout to Daddy-O. Thank you, brother. Legendary. Stetsasonic.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up. This was a wonderful, dinner. Thank you for coming on. And now you can tell people you've actually experienced a mukbang.
A what bang?
A mukbang.
I know.
A seafood mukbang. Yeah. And until the next time, tune in with the next episode of Celebrity Survivors. I'm Chanel Jasmine. Thank you.
Peace.